A couple adopts a quiet young boy named Ethan, only to discover he whispers terrifying secrets in his sleep, details about disappearances and a woman buried under the house. As they investigate, they uncover his family's dark past, a ritual that trapped his mother's spirit inside a locket, binding her to him. In the end, smashing the locket frees her, but Ethan vanishes, leaving only his final whisper, "Thank you for letting me go." Please comment where you are watching us from, and don't forget to click subscribe and turn on notifications. They thought they were giving a lonely boy a second chance at life. But late at night, as the house grew silent, they began to hear his whispers. Whispers that chilled them to the bone, because they weren't just random words. They were confessions, warnings, and secrets that no child should ever know. This is a haunting story of a quiet adoption, and the night a family realized they had welcomed something into their home that wasn't what it seemed. In the next few minutes, we'll uncover the mysterious background of this boy, the unsettling moments that grew inside his new home, and the terrifying whispers that left his adoptive parents questioning everything. Stay with me until the very end, because what they discover about him will leave you speechless. It began in a small suburban neighborhood, where David and Claire, an ordinary couple in their late 30s, longed to become parents. After years of failed attempts, they turned to adoption. When the agency introduced them to Ethan, a frail, dark-eyed boy of 8, they felt an instant pull. He hardly spoke, but when he looked up at them, there was something in his eyes, a mixture of sadness and secrets too old for his age. The agency said very little about his past, only that he had been through a lot. That phrase stuck with them. But their desire to love and protect him was stronger than any doubt. Within weeks, Ethan was theirs. And for a while, life seemed normal. He was polite, quiet, and surprisingly well-behaved. But in that very silence, there was something unnerving. At night, the couple began to notice strange things. The sound of Ethan talking in his sleep. At first, they brushed it off as harmless childhood nightmares. But soon, the whispers grew clearer. One night, Claire froze in the hallway outside his room. Through the crack of the door, she could hear him whisper, "They're watching me. Don't tell. Don't tell." Her blood ran cold. Who was watching him? And what secret was he afraid to tell? David tried to reassure her he's just processing trauma. But Claire couldn't shake the feeling that Ethan's words were not dreams. They were memories. The next week, things escalated. Ethan began drawing pictures, dark scribbles of faceless people, staring through windows, and a house that looked eerily like theirs. One night, just past midnight, Claire heard the whispers again. She pressed her ear against Ethan's door. This time, the words were unmistakable. They buried her under the floor. They said no one would ever find her. Claire's hands trembled. She rushed to wake David. At first, he was skeptical, but then both of them listened. Together, they heard their adopted son whisper names. Names they didn't recognize. And dates. Precise dates tied to events they would later learn had really happened. When they confronted Ethan the next morning, he stared at them blankly. He claimed not to remember saying anything, but the look in his eyes, as though he knew something they didn't, sent shivers down their spine. David decided to dig deeper into Ethan's past, and that's when they uncovered something chilling. The adoption agency had left out key details. Ethan's biological family hadn't just gone away. They had disappeared, mysteriously, without a trace. And Ethan was the only one found alive. The whispers, the drawings, the names, it all began to form a horrifying picture. What if Ethan wasn't just talking in his sleep? What if he was telling the truth? Late one night, as Claire stood in the hallway again, she gathered the courage to step inside Ethan's room. She leaned closer, listening. This time, his whisper was different. It was a warning. They're here, and they know you're listening. Claire's heart stopped, because in that instant, from the corner of the darkened room, she swore she saw a shadow move. Not Ethan's, something else. David and Claire had adopted him to give him a new life. But now they couldn't escape the feeling that Ethan hadn't come alone. He had brought his past with him, and maybe something far more sinister. The morning after Ethan warned, "They're here, and they know you're listening," Claire was shaken. She tried to explain away night terrors, trauma, fragments of memory, but David wasn't so sure anymore. He began combing through old newspapers, looking for any mention of Ethan's family. And there it was, a headline from 3 years ago. Local family vanishes without a trace. Young boy found wandering alone. The article gave no answers, only chilling details. The family's house had been left untouched. Dinner plates still on the table, but beneath the floorboards, the police had discovered stains. They never determined what happened, and Ethan was too young or too unwilling to explain. That night, Ethan's whispers took a darker turn. Claire, unable to sleep, pressed her ear to his door again. His voice was low, steady, almost rehearsed. They told me not to tell. They said she's still down there, under the house, waiting. Claire stumbled back, heart racing. Still down there? Who was he talking about? The next morning, she asked Ethan gently, but he only smiled faintly and said, "You'll see soon." David, now obsessed, decided to investigate. He searched their own basement, tapping on the floor, looking for hollow spots. At first, nothing. But then, in the far corner, beneath old storage boxes, he heard it. A hollow echo. Claire begged him to stop. "Don't open it. Please don't." But David was determined. He pried the boards loose, and beneath them he found not a body, no remains, but a small wooden box. Inside, bundled in rotting cloth, was a locket and a faded photograph of a woman holding Ethan. On the back, written in rushed handwriting, "They must never find out." Shaken, David showed the box to Claire. Who was the woman? Ethan's mother? And what secret was she hiding? That night, they listened again, and Ethan whispered something new. This time, it wasn't about hiding. It was about her. "She's angry. She knows you opened it. She wants it back." As Ethan mumbled in his sleep, the lights in his room flickered, and Claire swore she heard another voice. Not his, a woman's, whispering in unison with the boy. The couple thought they were uncovering a mystery, but instead it was awakening, because the next night, when Claire went to check on Ethan, his bed was empty, and on the wall, scratched deep into the paint with small fingernails, were the words, "She's here." Part 2 will reveal where Ethan went, the shocking truth about the woman in the photograph, and the terrifying discovery that will change everything the family thought they knew. So, are you ready for what comes next? Please click subscribe and turn on notifications. Thanks for watching.